الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأزواجه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ما يلفظ من قول إلا لديه رقيب عتيد. صدق الله العظيم. Sayyidina Muaz ibn Jabal Radiyallahu Anhu says in a hadith narrated by Imam Tirmizi rahmatullahi alayhi in his Sunan that once during one of our journeys, as we were traveling, I got very close to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and I used the opportunity of being so close to him, so I asked him, Ya Rasulullah, dullani ala amalin yudkhiluni al-jannah wa yubaiduni min al-nar. Ya Rasulullah, tell me about something that I would do that would get me into the Jannah. Ala amalin yudkhiluni al-jannah. Something that will just take me to the Jannah. Tell me some great deed that Allah loves so that I can just make it to Jannah. وَيُبَاعِدُنِي مِنَ النَّارِ, and an action that will keep me away from Jahannam. So Ya Rasulullah, tell me about some of the actions that I can do, some of the good a'mal that I can perform that will get me into the Jannah and keep me away from Jahannam. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam replied, لَقَدْ سَأَلْتَ عَنْ عَظِيمٍ. You have asked about something very great. It's a very important question. وَإِنَّهُ لَيَسِيرٌ عَلَى مَنْ يَسَّرَهُ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ. Although it's very great, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if Allah makes it easy for the person, then it becomes very easy. وَإِنَّهُ لَيَسِيرٌ عَلَى مَنْ يَسَّرَهُ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ. This thing is very easy for those on whom Allah will make it easy. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam got into informing Muaz radiyallahu anhu about those deeds. And he said, تَعْبُدَ اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكَ بِهِ شَيْئًا. Worship Allah alone. Do not associate partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَتُقِيمَ الصَّلَاةِ, and establish the salah. وَتُؤْتِيَ الزَّكَاةِ, and pay the zakah. وَتَصُومَ رَمَضَانِ, fast during Ramadan. وَتَحُجَّ الْبَيْتَ إِنِ اسْتَطَعْتَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا, and perform Hajj if you can afford to go for it. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam mentioned the 5 pillars of Islam. Oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, refraining from shirk, salah, zakah, fasting, and hajj. Muaz radiyallahu anhu says, then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said to me, أَلَا أَدُلُّكَ عَلَىٰ أَبْوَابِ الْخَيْرِ. Should I inform you of some of these ibadas that are the doors to every good? When you do these ibadas, you will see yourself advancing in khair, in good. Muaz radiyallahu anhu says, I said, Bala ya Rasulullah, sure ya Rasulullah, inform me about those. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, As-sawmu junnah. First thing is fast. Abwab al-khayr. Remember, he's mentioning Abwab al-khayr. And he mentioned 3 doors to the good things. 3 doors that will keep, as we enter them, as our life gets into that direction and we enter these doors, inshallah we will be on khayr in our life. First thing, fasting. Because as-sawmu junnah, fasting is a shield. that will protect you against sins, against evils. And of course, when a person stays away from sins, then he is able to do good deeds. Sins keep us away from doing a'mal salihah, from doing good deeds. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, the first thing is fast. Get used to keeping fast. This is a shield that will protect you against sins. Number 2, والصدقة تطفئ النار كما يطفئ الماء الحطب. Number 2, have a habit of giving the sadaqah. This is abwabul khair, the door to every good. This will keep on opening the doors of other khair for us, having the habit of giving the sadaqat. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam mentioned the reward for it. تطفئ النار. This sadaqah will put off the fire, which means he's referring to Jahannam. Put off the Jahannam, which means keep the person away from Jahannam, from that fire of Jahannam. It keeps on putting it off. كما يطفئ الماء النار. Just the way the water puts off fire, same way sadaqah puts off the fire. وصلاة الرجل في جوف الليل. And performing salah during the night time. Salat al-tahajjud. He mentioned 3 things, 3 of these ibadahs that keeps on opening the door to the khair for the person. When a person starts getting into these ibadahs, simply means that he have entered into a house that is full of khair, and he is just grabbing the khair now. Everything he's getting is good, inshallah. He have entered that door that leads to all the khair. Fasting, sadaqat, and salat al-tahajjud. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam asked Muaz radiyallahu anhu, Ya Muaz, أفلا أدلك على رأس الأمر وعموده وذروة سنامه. Should I inform you of the head of all of this, which means the foundation of all of these ibadahs, without which you cannot have no ibadah, and none of these things will be of any help to you. And should I inform you about the pillar on which you can construct the rest of the deen? And I also must inform you about ذروة السنام, the highest peak, the highest point of Iman. Then he went to explain, رأس الأمر الإسلام. The foundation of everything is Islam, just like the head, which means the space in the head on the body of a human being. We can imagine having a person without legs, without hands, without eyes, without ears, without tongue, but no person without this head. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Ra'sul Amri al-Islam. Islam is just like a head on the body of a person. Without it, everything else is useless. If there is no Islam, there is no Iman, then other things will not be of help in Akhirah. وَعَمُودُهُ الصَّلَاةِ. And the pillar of all of these deeds, that can take all of these deeds, the pillar that will hold everything, is Salah. When the person goes away from Salah, everything goes away. بين المرء والكفر ترك الصلاة. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam says, the only thing that keeps a person in Iman is Salah. فَمَنْ تَرَكَهَا فَقَدْ كَفَرَ. A person who starts missing the Salah, he finally falls into the kufr. We see people who are trying to bring so many excuses. Oh, we can't do this. We have to have these type of gatherings. We can't avoid these type of situations. The main problem, this person is not used to the salah. If this person will start coming to the salah, he will start establishing the salah, not just performing, establishing it the way the salah is supposed to be established. Then he will see that what deen is all about. Then he will feel what deen is telling him to do and act accordingly. Now we can't feel deen. We feel everything else. We feel our atmosphere. We feel the temperature of people around us. He's upset, he's happy, he's this. But we don't feel the temperature of the deen. That feeling is not there. When the feeling is gone of the deen, the person doesn't feel deen anymore. So he only feels everything else. He's looking at the mood of the people. He's looking at his income. He's looking at his benefit. He's looking at all of these things. But he does not feel this deen. Deen is out of picture. Deen is just like a poster that a person sees while traveling. We see so many posters out on the highway, on the side of the roads. Yes, you just read it. Whenever you need it, you'll call that number. That's it. This is people are taking the deen. Whenever I will need it, I will just do a few things. They don't have the feeling. Amuduhu as-salah. The foundation is Islam, and the pillar that can carry everything else is salah. When there is no salah, there are no pillars in the building of our iman. Everything else is falling apart. There are no pillars. There is nothing that can carry no weight. Any weight comes on our iman, we lose it right there. You see how fast people are giving up things. The weaker the person is with his salah, the faster and easier he will be giving up this deen. Because there is nothing that he can carry, nothing that can carry the weight. So much weight, all the fitnas are coming with so much weight. If salah is there, it will carry all of that weight. It will carry everything. But since the foundation is not strong and the pillars are not there, then nothing, we are not able to put anything on top of it. وَعَمُودُهُ الصَّلَاةِ. The pillar of this deen is salah. وَذَرْوَةُ السِّنَامِ الْجِهَادِ. And the highest peak of iman is jihad. Let's quickly now look at this hadith, where Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is explaining to Mu'az radiyallahu anhu the way of making it to Jannah and staying away from Jahannam. Something that everyone is working towards this direction. All the mu'mins, all the believers, this is our concern. Mu'az radiyallahu anhu's concern were the same, and he asked Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam this question. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, first thing he explained the 5 pillars of Islam. He said these are the main things. You have to do these things. Without it, don't even talk any further. We like to give long lectures, a lot of talks, write books, make these programs, have a conference. And even the organizers of the conference are missing the prayers. What are we going to do with the conference? Bring people together, have unity. All of these things in so many conferences, so many things. But the ones that are doing it, when we look at these foundations of Islam, they are not there. During the conference, time for salah, no time for it. No time for the salah. No one even cares about how to do the salah. Oh, let's quickly find some room, some corner where quickly we will finish the salah. The least important thing of the conference. These are the foundations of our Islam. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, these are the foundations. These things are must. Without it, don't even think of going any further. These things are there. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam informed Mu'az radiyallahu anhu of abwab al-khayr. He said, these are the things, and now out of these things I will inform you of something that will keep on opening the doors of khair for you. So going to the Jannah will become easy and you will stay away from Jahannam. Abwab al-khair, he mentioned 3 abwab al-khair. Sawm, fasting, sadaqat, and salat al-tahajjud. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam told him about how to make this thing very strong. His iman is strong. This deen is strong. And for that he told him the foundation is Islam. The pillar is salah. And if you want to get to the highest peak, is jihad. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam asked Mu'az radiyallahu anhu, أَفَلَا أَدُلُّكَ عَلَى مِلَاكِ ذَلِكَ كُلِّهِ? Should I inform you of something that will give you control over all of these things? Subhanallah. This is rahmah. That I told you all of these things, although these are very simple things for a mu'min to do. Every mu'min has to do these things. But should I tell you something that will give you control over all of these things? Now I would just tell you one thing that will give you control over all of these ibadahs. So that when you deal with this thing here, when you do this thing properly, then going to the Jannah will become very easy for you. Now this is the initial question. Going to the Jannah will become very easy for you, and staying away from Jahannam will become very easy. أَفَلَا أَدُلُّكَ بِمِلَاكِ ذَلِكَ كُلِّهِ? Should I inform you of something that will give you good control, that controls all of these things? One thing that controls all of this will give you the control over your ibadah, over your iman. تَعْبُدَ اللَّهَ وَلَا تُشْرِكَ بِهِ شَيْئًا. Over your iman, over your salah, zakah, fast, hajj. And something that will give you control over getting abwab al-khair. If you control this thing properly, you know how to deal with this thing properly, then abwab al-khair will keep on opening for you. Something that will make your iman and your ibadah very strong. بِمِلَاكِ ذَلِكَ كُلِّهِ. Something that has a control over all of these things, that rules all of these things. He said, Bala ya Rasulullah. Sure ya Rasulullah. Tell me, what is that? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam pointed towards his tongue and he said, Amlik alayka hada. Control this. He said, control this. If you control this, everything else will start getting better. Who would think that this will come at the end as the thing that controls all of that? He said, Amlik alayka hada. Control this tongue. If you control this, then doors of the Jannah will open up for you. The thing which comes the last in our list, in fact, we don't even have it in our list to even care about. Yes, ibadah, all of the other things. We want to do so much work. I'm doing so much ibadah, I'm doing so much work for deen, I'm doing this. When it comes to this, no control. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is telling us, Amlik alayka hada. If you control this, this is milaki dhalika kulli. This will give you the control over all the other things that you need to do. In another hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, أكثر خطايا ابن آدم في لسانه. Most of the sins of human beings are in their tongue. Most of the people, they sin through their tongue, not through other parts of the body. The worst sins human beings commit are normally through their tongue. In another hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, من يضمن لي ما بين لحييه وما بين رجليه أضمن له الجنة. Guarantee me what's between your jaws, which means your tongue, and what's between your legs, the private part. I guarantee you the Jannah. The word, مَن يَضْمَنْ لِي, guarantee. He is guaranteeing, and He wants a guarantee from us, that we guarantee we will control our tongue and our private parts. When we look at ourselves, especially in this type of gatherings, we don't have people who are not used to coming to the masajid. We are talking about people who, mashallah, are used to the masajid, salawat, ibadah, Quran, adhkar, all the other type of good things, good ibadahs, good work of deens, mashallah. But if we look at ourselves, we would realize that really we pay no attention whatsoever towards the use of the tongue. And in fact, sometime when we look at ourselves and even other men look at us as these are the people of deen. MashaAllah, beard, clothing, oh yeah, these are the good people. People who practice deen. And when we look at the use of our tongue, how we use this tongue, the people are of deen, when their tongue is being used, and we see what we speak and what we say with these tongues, sometimes the crimes we commit through this tongue may be worse than the crime people are committing outside who are not considered the people of deen. Remember, this deen does not go by opinions. I cannot think that this is good, this is why it's good. It will not become good if I think it's good. This deen does not depend on opinions, and this deen will not go by hopes. This deen is a deen of reality. And it's a deen that came to us from true sources, authentic sources, from Quran and the Sunnah. If today I take two of the good deeds and think because of this I am the person of deen, and other things I'm committing all the other haram, no, this person is not a person of deen. Just some of these ibadahs will not make us the sulaha, just because I started looking like some of the good people. There is more that we have to do. Imagine if we have a person who we consider of the sulaha, and later on we find out that this person, when he goes home, he mistreats his own mother. He curses at his mother. He once pushed his mother. What are we going to say about that person? No, I saw him doing so much of work. MashaAllah, he did so much work of deen, so he's great. No, he's of the surah regardless of how he dealt with his mother. No, this is the deen of Allah. We know what the ruling says, what the hadith says about this. He cannot be of sulaha. Same situation is ours, that we held to certain things, but these are few things where we really consider ourselves exempt from it. I'm exempt from this because I'm a virtuous man. And then the crimes we commit are similar, or some cases maybe some of these crimes worse than stealing, committing zina, and all of those type of crimes. Look at this hadith when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam says, "Al-ghibatu ashaddu min az-zina." Backbiting is worse than zina. That person who commits zina, he cannot be of sulaha. But we can be of sulaha in spite of doing ghibah. I am exempt because I am doing so much ibadah. We just consider ourselves exempt from these things. I have so much concern about everyone. This is why I can backbite everyone. Whatever excuse we find for ourselves, the deen of Allah is not going to change. We are not going to be judged by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment according to our opinions. We will be judged according to the deen of Allah. Did we follow the deen or not? Ya Allah, I thought my opinion was I could backbite because I was this. That's not going to help. Ashaddu min as-zina. Imagine you see a person eating pork. And this person is trying to talk to us and prove to us, I'm one of the sulaha of the ummah at this time. And he's sitting and eating pork. Who would take that person as one of the sulaha? We commit the same type of crime, similar type of crime. According to the Sharia, it may be a worse crime. Still, I'm of the sulaha. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was sitting in the masjid. A Sahabi came in. Ya Rasulullah, adnabtu fatahhirni. I have committed a sin, purify me. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did not pay any attention to him. He said, Ya Rasulullah, I have committed a major sin. I fell into zina. Purify me, Ya Rasulullah. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam turned his face to the other side. This Sahabi goes to the other side. Ya Rasulullah, I committed zina. Fatahhirni, purify me. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam turns his face away to the other side. And he keeps on going to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Wherever he turns, he goes to that direction. Ya Rasulullah, please purify me. I have got myself dirty from that najasa. I need to be purified. And finally, when he said it 4 times, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam applied the rule of the Sharia on that person, and that was stoning to death. They were going back. 2 of the people are talking. That look at him. He committed zina. And then Allah covered up his sin, and still he came and revealed it himself. And finally he was killed like a dog. 2 people are upset. It's not that they want to do something wrong. They're upset about the thing that this person has done. They can't imagine after Islam you would do something like this. So they're upset about it. According to their understanding, they're doing something. They're not doing anything wrong. They're upset for deen. This person committed zina in Islam. And then he came and revealed his sin. Look how he was killed now because of those sins. He was killed like a dog. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam overheard it. He didn't say anything. He kept on walking. On the way, they saw a dead goat. A goat that was dead, and the body, someone has thrown that goat over there on the side of the road. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam stopped over there. It was stinking. It was smelling bad. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam stopped over there. And he asked, Aina fulanun wa fulan? Where is that and that person, such and such person? The same 2 people. Come over here. Eat this animal here. Eat this goat from the dead animal that you see over here. Ya Rasulullah, innaha mayta. This is a dead animal, Ya Rasulullah. How can we eat it? It's haram. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, the words that you were speaking, one of you saying it, the other hearing it. The conversation that was going between the 2 of you, that was worse than eating this. That was worse than eating this dead animal. People who eat haram, they are bad people. We do all of this, we are sulaha. Sins that are worse than those sins. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is not saying this is like eating the dead animal. He said what you were just doing was worse than eating this dead animal. How many times in our life we ate dead animals? How many times we eat dead animals and still we are sulaha. Still we are great people. This is the tongue. If we don't control it, this is what it gets into. These are not minor things. These are not simple things. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam tells us how much they weigh in the scales of the sins of the sins on the day of judgment. He's telling us a person will come with zina, another person comes with ghiba. This person with ghiba may carry heavier sins than the other person with zina. He's telling us a person who ate haram, he was eating dead animals and he was eating haram. Another person always halal. No, make sure that this is halal. I don't even touch that. That is mashkook. I'm of the sulaha. But the use of the tongue, with how he used to talk about people, he has done sins that are heavier than eating that haram animal. Heavier than eating that pork. To his understanding, he was of the sulaha. These are realities. These are hadiths of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. I'm sure if I would just say them, everyone will be upset. These are hadiths of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. This is our deen. This is what we learn from the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. If we want really to be of the sulaha, then we have to control this tongue. Imam Tirmizi rahmatullahi alayhi have narrated in his Sunan, hadith sahih. During one of the battles, one of the young Sahaba ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'een was martyred. His mother came. The young boy, the young man is covered with blood, dust all over his body. She started wiping the dust of his face and she's saying, Hani anlak, lakal jannah. Good news, O my son, you get the Jannah. You are martyred in the battlefield. Lakal Jannah, you are guaranteed Jannah, my son. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was standing there. As he heard this mother saying these words, he said, Wama yudriki, how do you know this? Do you know if he used to control his tongue from saying things that do not concern him? If he was not, then he may have to go for some time to the other side. أو كان يبخل فيما لا, I don't remember the exact wording, or he had the habit of holding the things that will not hurt him to spend it. And when there was a time of spending it, he was holding it back to himself. These two things could keep him from going straight to Jannah. This is shaheed. But Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is saying, make sure that you know these two things before you say these words. Does he used to control his tongue from saying things that do not concern him? And this is why there is a short hadith. I'm sure we all can memorize it very easily and keep on reminding ourselves of it. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Man samata najah. A person who stays quiet, he would surely be successful. Another hadith which is in Sahih, Bukhari, Muslim, all the other books of hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, and look at the strength of the message, Man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir. Whoever believes in Allah and the last day. Look at the strength of the message. If you are really a mu'min, if you claim that you are a believer, Man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir. Whoever believes in Allah and the last day, فَلْيَقُلْ خَيْرًا أَوْ لِيَصْمُتْ, should say something good or just stay quiet. Don't say nothing. يَقُلْ خَيْرًا, say something good. If you have to say something good or just stay quiet. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was sitting, and a person came and he started talking. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam asked him, Kam duna lisanika min hijab. How many barriers does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have placed in front of your tongue? He said, my teeth and my lips. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, then Allah didn't teach you how to close these doors? Allah didn't teach you how to keep these doors closed? He put so many doors, He put these teeth in front of it. He put these lips in front of the tongue. And that is so that you control it. As one of the hukama says, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have placed only one cover in front of the eyes, but two barriers in front of the tongue. To show us that this is more dangerous than the eyes. One cover in front of the eyes. But there are two in front of these, in front of the teeth, in front of the tongue. This is why Abu Darda Radiyallahu Anhu, one of his words of hikmah and advice was that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us one tongue and two ears. So have a habit of hearing twice more than you speak. And then he used to say, whatever you speak is for others, and whatever you hear is for yourself. When you speak, it's for others. When you hear it, it's for yourself. And therefore he used to advise students that you must learn how to stay quiet just the way you learn how to speak. Uqba al-Ma'amir radiyallahu anhu says, I asked Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Man najah? What is the way to success? Subhanallah, what an important question. Man najah, ya Rasulullah? What is the way to success, ya Rasulullah? What is the way to protect ourselves from all the fitnas and evils? Najah. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Amlik alayka lisanak. Control your tongue. Control your tongue. وَلْيَسَعْكَ بَيْتُكَ. And your house should be enough to accommodate you. Which means, when you don't have a need to go out, don't just be running here and there. Stay in one place. Have a habit of staying at one place. Don't run here and there. The more you're out, the more we get into fitnas and problems. وَلْيَسَعْكَ بَيْتُكَ. Have a habit of staying at your home. وَابْكِ عَلَى خَطِيئَتِكَ. When you stay home, is not to watch TV. وَابْكِ عَلَى خَطِيئَتِكَ. Cry for the sins that you have committed. Look at the beautiful advices. أَمْلِكَ عَلَيْكَ لِسَانَكَ. Control your tongue. Stay home and cry for the sins that you have committed. What a beautiful life. That a person doesn't use his tongue for nonsense, where he doesn't have to use it, and he is staying away from all the problems, all the fitnas. He has time, he just stays by himself, and he's making dua to Allah, he's praying to Allah, and he's crying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wahab bin Munabbih rahmatullahi alayhi. A person approached him and said, that I was with such and such person and he was backbiting you. He said, Ya Fulan. He calls the person with his name and says, you, Shaitan never found any other person except you to be his messenger. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen some people to be his messengers. Shaitan chooses some people to be his messengers, to send them out to people, and he chose you. You better look at your deeds, better look at your a'mal. You must have done something because of which Shaitan have selected you to be his messenger and to come and tell me that that person was backbiting me, to create some hard feelings between me and him. Did you advise him not to backbite me? Or you were very happily enjoying the conversation when you were sitting there? And this is normally the situation. Not only this, later on if you go and talk to that person, you find out that the person who came and informed you, he said few things too. But he never narrated those. And some people, may Allah protect us. Some people have the habit, go and tell him one thing, that this is what that person said. And now this person is going to get upset and say a few things. Now take these words, go back and tell that person. And that person is going to be angry and now hear a few things from there. Whatever he says, come and read them back here. Namima. This is called namima. Taking the words back and forth between the two people. What's the purpose? Nothing. May not even be that he would like to make a fight and create a fight between the two. It's a habit where he enjoys doing this. Some people just enjoy it. Taking things from here to there to here. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was passing by two graves. And the hadith is in Sahih. He said, إِنَّهُمَا لَيُعَذَّبَانِ. Both of them are going through adhab al-qabr. May Allah protect all of us. They both are being punished in their qabr. وَمَا يُعَذَّبَانِ فِي كَبِيرٍ. They are not being punished in something that normally people consider as a major sin. It's something that people consider it's something very minor. Bala innahu lakabir. But it says, in reality, these are some of the very major ones. Amma ahaduhuma fakana la yastanzihu min bawlih. One of them would not protect himself from the najasa, from the urine. When he uses the bathroom, he would not clean himself properly. وَأَمَّا الْآخَرُ فَكَانَ يَمْشِي بِالنَّمِيمَةِ. The other person had the habit of namima, which means the same thing, taking words from here to there, back and forth between the two people. Wahab ibn al-Munabbih rahmatullahi alayhi, he saw a person that was backbiting, and another person was just standing there and hearing it. So he approached them and he said to the person who was standing and hearing it, which is normally our situation, we just hear it and take it. I'm not involved in it. I'm not going to do nothing about it. I won't even narrate it to the other person. When you heard it, it's a responsibility. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam tells us in the hadith, the person who hears the ghibah is just like the one who have done it. Both are equal in the sin. Because the one who says it, he needs someone to hear it. If you don't hear it, he won't have no one to say it to. Most of the time, the problem is the ones that are hearing these things. It's not the ones who are saying really. The ones who are saying, they will stop if we stop hearing it. But they get a lot of encouragement from everyone else. Oh yeah, he knows. This person, he enjoys hearing it. So go and tell him. He won't say anything. He's virtuous. He's salaha. He is very salih. He won't say nothing. He would just like to hear backbiting. So he's a good man. So Wahab ibn al-Munabbih. And this is a habit. This is a habit. People enjoy doing it. Go here and there. Go to everyone. this person is like this, that person is like this. And it happens only because we hear that. You tell the person, never tell me about it. Never talk to me about these things. When we were students, there was a person in our class, I mentioned it before too, I think, who really helped us in this situation. It was his habit. This is our habit when we sit together, we must say something about someone. And this was this person's habit. In a school of 450 students, you say something, you must say something about one of the students. So he would wait until he would get an opportunity where he will see you and that person together. Or he would find an opportunity, he will get the other person, I need to talk to you, and he will bring you in front of this person. And now, he brings that person to you, and he says to that person, this is what he was telling me about you. And he would tell you, can you tell me what did you say about him? And imagine the situation he would put you in. I didn't mean to say it on his face. But this is what he would do. Every time you talk about someone, he would bring that person to you. And he would say, you were saying something about him. Can you tell me that? Whether it's true or lie, you will be ashamed of yourself. This is in this dunya. Imagine when it will come in the akhirah. Imagine if it will come in the akhirah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell us, tell him, what did you say about him? Yes. And this is going to happen. And God forbid we stand in front of those that are accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those are good people, sulaha. They are destined to Jannah. And Allah will call them and will call us, look, this is what He said about you. How ashamed we would be of ourselves standing in front of those people and standing before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we have said things like this. Yahya ibn Ma'in rahmatullahi alayhi, one of the very famous scholars of Islam, and I have narrated this name a couple of times before too, one of the great of the muhaddiseen. In fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose this person that the authenticity of the ahadith depends really on the work and the effort put by few people. One of them is Yahya ibn Ma'in. These are the people that we know that they selected the field of Asma'ul Rijal, talking about the narrators of the ahadith. Even Imam Bukhari depends on them. Imam Muslim depends on them. Imam Tirmidhi, all the people. Really, when we see the name Bukhari, Muslim and Tirmidhi, all of this, they all depend on these scholars. Like Yahya ibn Ma'in, like Waki' ibn al-Jarrah. Yahya ibn Ma'in, one day, he was sitting and he started crying. The students asked him the reason. He said, as we talk about Asma'ul Rijal, about the narrators of the hadith, sometimes we may have to say a few things about some of these people that are reality, and we have to narrate them so that we protect the hadith, and who knows, these people may already be in Jannah. Which means the doors of the Jannah are open for them over there. And we are saying these things about them that are bad things. He said, I'm too afraid of what will happen to me, but I have to do it because I have to convey that knowledge to the information to the other people, because this is about the narrator of the hadith. This was their fear. When they're doing the work, that is the work of real deen, that they have to protect the hadith, and they have to say that this person one day he did this. And they're narrating it openly, publicly. They were so truthful that a person comes to Yahya ibn Ma'in and he says to him that your father narrates a hadith to me. Should I accept the hadith from him? So he said, go and ask someone else. Don't ask me this question. So he said, no. I trust you for Asma'ul Rijal, for this type of knowledge, and I want the answer from you. He said, Innahu deen. He said, this is my deen. I cannot give anyone preference over my deen. No, my father is da'if. Don't take it from him. So Wahab ibn Munabbih, when he saw that person, one of them is backbiting, the other is hearing it. He went to the other person and he said to him, look, what this person is doing right now to you is, he has a pot that is full of different things, where he has a lot of different things in it. He finds out the worst dirt in his pot and he's emptying it into yours. He's getting all the najasa and the dirt that's in his pot, in his heart, and he's emptying it into your heart. And you are standing there saying nothing to this person. Reality. These people used to see things in real form. If we look at it, truly, this is reality. How come I couldn't understand it up to this day? But this is the reality. People carry najasa in their heart. They are full of it. They are containers of najasa. And they want to empty it into everyone's little bit. They come to us, and instead saying things about others, they are emptying their najasa into our heart. And they are spoiling our heart too with them. Let us just finish the hadith of Mu'adh radiyallahu anhu. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said to him, أَفَلَا أَدُلُّكَ عَلَى مِلَاكِ ذَلِكَ كُلِّهِ? Should I inform you of something that will give you control over all of these things? أَمْلِكْ عَلَيْكَ هَذَا. Control your tongue. Mu'adh radiyallahu anhu was surprised. Ya Rasulullah, وَإِنَّا لَمُؤَاخَذُونَ بِمَا نَتَكَلَّمُ بِهِ. Are we going to be held responsible for what we speak? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam replied, ثَكُلَتْكَ أُمُّكَ يَا مُعَاذ وَهَلْ يَكُبُّ النَّاسَ فِي النَّارِ عَلَى وُجُوهِهِمْ إِلَّا حَصَائِدُ أَلْسِنَتِهِمْ. Mu'az, majority of the people will be thrown into the hellfire because of their tongues. Majority of the people that will be into the Jahannam, they will go to Jahannam because of their tongue. So when we look at the other sins and we find ourselves avoiding them, we need to realize there is something that we need to work on too. And we have to be very careful about. We really need to get some good lessons about the use of this tongue. We need to go through some trainings and give ourselves some time that don't want to speak to anyone for a few days. Just want to sit in the i'tikaf, for example, and no talking. So I get used to controlling my tongue. We will see how feelings are coming up. Let me just say this thing to this person. Let me just say one thing to that person. Oh, this looks like good. No matter how good that is, right now we are in the training. Let me hold it. Let me hold it right now. I'll talk to him after a few days. And see how our feeling really, we don't realize that this feeling of talking may be just like any other lust and desire we have in our souls. That is difficult to control. So it's something that we really need to pay a lot of attention to. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was asked, سئل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عن أكثر ما يدخل الناس النار. The question was asked, Ya Rasulullah, what is the thing because of which majority of the people will go into Jahannam? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Al-Ajwafan, to the two hidden parts of the body, and that is the private part and the tongue. These are the two things because of which majority of the people will be in Jahannam. So now, normally what happens is, we look at just one of these two parts. Okay, people are doing that haram out there. But similar type of thing is taking place from here, from within us, that we pay no attention to it. This is part of our deen, and we have to be careful about it. We have to train our souls, and we have to be very extremely careful in regarding the use of our tongue. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from all the sins that go with this tongue, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to be able to make a good use of it and prevent and stay away from all type of bad uses, the uses that lead to the ma'siyah, to the sins and disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.